Hi, my name's Liz Sparrow. I'm an engineer and a glider pilot. I've been flying with the British gliding team for quite a long time, and when I'm not working, I really enjoy racing gliders. That's what we're going to talk about today. But first, do you know what gliding's about? Gliders have no engines and they rely on pilot skill and rising air to keep them flying. They can go high, fast and far. Here are some stats. Up into the stratosphere, and a distance further than from here to Egypt, all without an engine. But they do need a hand getting airborne, and there are two ways normally you get airborne. First is a winch launch, where you pull a cable out the length of the airfield, and as you can see from the picture, you then winch it in, and the glider can go up on the end of the winch and be launched very quickly. It's better than Formula One acceleration. It's a really quick, easy, great way to get into the air. Alternatively, you can have an aerotow, where you tow behind a powered plane, and that can take you to a specific place or a specific height. But once you're up there, then, because you have no engine, you need to find rising air to climb in. And you can see here a glider flying into a column of rising air, hot air coming off a town. If we circle in it, overall we climb. So what then happens is that as the air rises, it cools and a cloud forms, and the puffy summer clouds that you get, cumulus clouds, they're marking where air has risen. So what glider pilots do, and you can see a diagram here, the glider pilots come in from the left, found a column of rising air, circling in it, climbing, gliding off again, climbing in the next one, gliding off to the next one, climbing, and so on. A series of climb, glide, until you get to your destination. And you might well ask, what happens if there are no thermals? Well, without thermals, the glider will just continue to lose height, and if we can't make it back to the airfield, we have to pick a field and land. It's part of our training to be able to do that. Then we take the glider apart, put it in a trailer, and drive it home, and you can see pictures here showing that. And part of our training, we have to pick a field whilst we're still high enough to be able to select a suitable field and plan our landing, so about 500 metres above the ground. So which of these gliders do you think would go the furthest or the fastest? I expect you all guessed the bottom one, and you're right, it's obviously much more aerodynamic, much sleeker. And the highest performance gliders have a glide ratio around 60:1. Now what that means is if the glider is 1,000 metres above the ground, it can fly 60 times 1,000 metres, 60 kilometres, before it touches down. Although you have to save some height for making a safe landing. And of course, what you've got to do before you get too low is find another thermal to climb in and climb back up again. So what we're doing is balancing, pushing out to find a nice strong thermal, but taking a thermal to make sure that we stay high enough to keep in the air. And part of the trick of being a great racing pilot is to understand what a good cloud looks like. So here's a picture taken from the cockpit, and you can see I've annotated it. We've got some clouds lined up in front of us, and when we have a look, to start with, here's a cloud, and I think there's some lift, as I've drawn here, going into it. So I'm going to go under there and have a look, then I'm going to move on. That one doesn't look so good to me. This one here looks quite good. You see it's sort of quite dark, quite a firm line underneath it. And then we'll move on, there's another one out there, and so on and so on. And so what we're doing is trying to find the strongest lift under these clouds. And we may find no lift. And of course, as we get lower, it becomes more likely that we're going to land out if we don't find a thermal quickly. So that's what we're going to have a look at and do a probability calculation in a minute. Okay, so we're going to have a look at what a glider actually does when it's in the air. And if you have a look here, you can see there is a blue line, which is the track that we're following to a point that's off the screen at the moment. And here is the glider, which is reasonably high. This is part of a flight. It was 423 kilometres and I did it at 119 kilometres per hour, so pretty fast, no engine. And so what we do when we're flying, we carry a little tracker that records from our GPS, our sat-nav, where we've been, and we're able to play it back later. And that's what I'm going to do now. Just start this playing, and you'll see the glider has moved off and it's looking for a climb. And look, it's stopped and it's circling and climbing as it goes. You see, I'm not flying exactly along the blue line, which is my track line. What I'm doing is looking for where the best climbs are. I know they're going to vary, and I'll try and climb only in the really good ones because then I can go faster. So here I am looking for a climb, and gradually, of course, coming down as I go. And I think I'm coming up to some clouds now, and here we are. I'm trying it, but only 3 turns. Wasn't really happy. That wasn't a good enough cloud. And this one, yeah, no, still not really happy with that one. So here I am carrying on where I think the good clouds are. Ah, this is better. Okay, I'm prepared to stop in this one. And I've climbed a fair bit, but still, this one's much better. So this one's taking me up at about 3 meters per second. So quite a fast climb. And I've now climbed and I'm able to carry on. And there I am going around that next point that I needed to go round and carrying on my way.
So gliding's a game of probability and skill. We practice finding the best clouds with the strongest lift, but we never really know until we try. And here's a glider flying into and thermaling with another glider in some rising air. If we get too low, there's an increasing probability that we'll have to land. And if we go off track because we think we'll find stronger lift, we have to fly further. So we have to guess that the probability is that we will find stronger lift. Probability in action when you're gliding. Now it's your turn.
So are you ready for your glider racing challenge? Your student notes have got all the rules that you need. They tell you the challenge, the course, and the rules you have to follow. Now, time to start thinking, and we're going to pause the video whilst you answer the first set of questions. Well, just before we launched, we got an updated weather forecast, and the good news is the conditions are better than expected. Looks like we're going to find lift just about everywhere. Time to fly. Now, discuss and plan your route. Can you complete the course, or are we coming to pick you up from a field with the trailer? Good luck!
Hi, we hope you enjoyed the challenge and found it fun and interesting. We're from Junior Gliding. I'm Lucy and I'm 17 and I've been gliding for 3 years.
And I'm Em, I'm 16 and I've been gliding for 2.
Did you know that you can fly on your own in a glider before you can drive a car?
If you want to find out more about gliding, go to the British Gliding Association website, www.gliding.co.uk.
There are around 80 gliding clubs across the UK.
We hope to see you in the skies soon.